What's going on, Duck Nation? College Football Nation. This is UODuckBros going industrial today. He's at work, I got the day off, so this was like the only day that we had to film this thing, and everything's...
And here we are.
Yeah. So, recap of week 1. You didn't even get to watch it the day that it happened, though, because he was at the coast. I got the chance to watch it.
I listened to it all.
Yeah.
But go ahead and tell me what you saw.
So, obviously the game was a blowout, like it was supposed to be, and we got through the game virtually injury-free, except for Ekpreolumu. And I don't know, I haven't heard anything about that, by the way.
It's typical Oregon.
Great, that's awesome. Well, that doesn't help me out at all. So, the game was a blowout. The offense looked really good. It was nice to see, some players getting some time out there. Dwayne Stanford looked good, albeit he is absolutely one of the slowest people I've ever seen.
He's the new Jeff Mail.
Yeah, or Tune, I guess.
Yeah.
The running game looked good. Seeing the three-headed monster was awesome. Thomas Tyner looked good. Royce Freeman looked good. Byron Marshall looked good outside of the fact that he, decided to just let go of the ball before he got to the end zone. And that entire 50-something yard touchdown ended up being for nothing, but they scored on, the next play or so. So it really wasn't the worst thing. But I liked it. And I think that's going to be probably what we're going to see a lot of this season. So it was good. I like this whole, new look for offense. Mariota looked awesome. He looked calm and collected in the pocket. When he ran, he looked good. He only made a couple of throws that were kind of, but first game of the season, it's gonna happen, man. The problem, here's the one problem, and you know what? It may be nothing. It may have just been because it was the first game and because it was against South Dakota. And, as excited as everybody is to play, it is kind of hard to get up for a game like that when you're favored by 52 points, which they missed covering the spread by 3.
Oh, wow.
So everybody that was, probably betting on the spread, they're like, damn it! But the big problem wasn't the offensive line, thank God. And it wasn't the receiving core, because it looked pretty good. The glaring problem was the defensive line.
Which is the recurring theme if you're an Oregon fan.
Yeah, and, it's South Dakota, so you would think that, it shouldn't be an issue. But it kind of was, because, they were getting pressure on their quarterback, which was nice, because even in, the Nicholls State game last year, we didn't really see very much of that, which was kind of concerning. But at least they got pressure on the quarterback. They only got 1 sack, but it was still nice to see that. But they were having a lot of problems stopping the run against South Dakota, which, not trying to pull the race card here, but also with a white running back, which not really going to be as fast as your typical not white running backs, but
Toby Gerhart torched us once too, if you remember that.
Yeah,
one.
but that's power, not speed. He was just huge
Well,
with his daily intake of
white guys can run, man.
Of steroids and nails for breakfast.
Sure,
but
sure.
It was concerning to see that the defensive line and the linebackers were having an issue stopping the run. And I've got a feeling that, if this ends up being a trend, we're going to be in for a long week tomorrow. It's already, yeah. I'm sure they've been working diligently on that, ever since the game was over, but that was, the only glaring issue that I saw.
One thing to keep in mind, though, and I think, most Duck fans probably have had time to think about this, including myself, because I overreacted too, probably, I think, initially, but...
Which is why we didn't post this on, on Sunday or Monday, because...
I think really...
Overreaction Monday!
Yeah, I think really more or less what it is A, first game of the year, gotta get the kinks out. You're obviously going to... 9 penalties, I don't expect that for the next game. I expect us to be a lot more disciplined. But, the other thing is, too, is, by halftime, a lot of the other guys that were in there were the young guys, the second and third string guys that were looking to get reps. So you're going to give up yards. Those guys are just trying to figure out the defense, where they're supposed to play, what their keys are, where their lanes are, all of that stuff. So you're kind of it's a give and take. So you're gonna give up yards, but you know, I mean
they gave
really if you're getting experience out of it though, and if it's gonna help in this next game and going forward, you know, you'll take that because honestly, this game here is gonna mean, you know, to me it's the season already. I mean, you're setting the tone for going forward, what your team's gonna look like, and you're setting the perception for the media. So. It's a huge week for the Pac-12. It's a huge, huge, huge game for Oregon.
We'll get into that in the next thing, though.
Yeah, I don't know.
The nice thing was that even though Oregon was giving up yards, they weren't allowing a lot of points. I mean, they gave up 13 points, which, I mean, that's not bad. I mean, for a first game when you're replacing a lot of people. It's
new defense.
Yeah, new defensive strategy because we got Don Pelham now. You would have liked to have seen, like a shutout or maybe like a 7-point, outing or whatever. But it could have been worse. I mean, hey, it could have been like Washington against, Hawaii.
Yeah, or Oregon State losing to Portland State for a long time.
Yeah, so I mean, it could have been cleaner, but sometimes, it wasn't as sloppy as we may have made it out to be.
Yeah, what you're gonna take away from it really is it's the first game of the season.
By the way, you know who I really enjoyed watching for like 30 seconds? Charles Nelson.
Charles Nelson is awesome.
It was really weird though because he's totally wearing DeAnthony's number.
I know.
And I saw that, I was like, oh, okay, we're already going back there, huh? But the guy can move. I mean, it's not DeAnthony Thomas speed, but the guy can move.
He's fast though.
He's a shifty little bugger.
And here's the deal though. The thing that I'm kind of, and I don't know if you saw it, and I don't know if other Duck fans saw it, because I wasn't able to see it. I was able to listen to it, but where was Tony James?
I don't think he played.
Dang it. Because you know what? I want to, I've heard so much about the kid. I've watched a lot of YouTube videos on the kid, and I want to see how fast he really is.
Don't worry. I'm sure that we'll probably see a fair amount of him.
I mean,
probably not in this game, but probably in like the Wyoming
and what
game.
What about Devin Allen?
He was in the game.
How did he do?
I think he only caught like 1 or 2 balls, and one of them was like an over the top pass, but he is fast, man. Holy crap. I don't really know much about like his route running skills because they didn't really do a lot with that. A lot more of it was, Keenan Lowe and Byron Marshall was everywhere in that game. It was awesome. Like seeing.
I almost would rather it be, like Aaron was saying in our last video, and other times too. I've talked to other Duck fans. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I would like to see Byron Marshall kind of play the DeAnthony role where you kind of line him up in the slot, and then you just have Freeman and Tyner in the backfield.
That's pretty much exactly what they did.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I mean, you did see when Byron did touch the ball. I mean, he did big things with the ball.
He did, yeah. It was.
So
it's
kind of like, so what do you really do with him? I mean, he's a big back. He's not a small back. He's not Michael James or Kenyon Barner. He's bigger. But he's not as big as Tyner, and he's not as big as Freeman. Obviously, Freeman's just massive, by the way.
That guy is insane. I saw a picture of him in the during like a post game interview.
His arms,
dude, his arms are like the size of my head.
Yeah, they're huge.
He looks kind of like a Ninja Turtle.
Yeah, well, I mean, I wouldn't go that far,
dude. Like in this newer movie, they're all like whited out of their gourd.
I mean, maybe, but he's not.
No.
Yeah, we're not suggesting he does roids.
You know what I mean. He's a big dude.
He's not small.
Especially considering that
he actually is like Colt Lyerla big. Like, he's not as tall.
Especially considering that he's like 19 years old.
Well,
let's not forget that.
He's not a tight end. He's a running back.
I know.
But this is why I'm so happy that we got him, because we need the guy
that can
bruise in between the tackles when it gets to goal line situations and know that you're going to get the tough yards.
You know what was nice? Because you didn't get to see this, but Oregon ran the ball up the middle and they got yards. It was nice. Like they weren't busting off 30-yard runs all the time with that, but when it was like 3rd and 6 or 3rd and 5, and Tyner or whoever would run it up the middle, they would get those first downs. It was awesome. It was nice to see that they could move a pile of people if they had to get yards for a first down.
Well, let's be real here. This is the more impressive thing.
Mhm.
We probably only used about 2 pages of the playbook.
No, probably.
So you realize that, being as dominant as Oregon was, now for a lot of different reasons, of course, but when you don't really have to do a whole lot to be dominant, it's kind of nice. You don't have to, show a bunch of things before you have a big game like we do tomorrow. So, I think, even for the defense, probably you could say the same. They probably weren't running a ton of schemes because they don't want to give anything away to Michigan State or anything, which we'll talk about in the next video. But it's encouraging to know that you did a lot with probably this much. And so I look forward to seeing a completely different Oregon team going forward. But if you're going to take away from anything, just to kind of keep this from being a 15-minute video,
They look good.
you liked what you saw. Yeah, there's some things they need to clean up, but for the most part, taking into all the things into consideration, it was a good game.
Yeah.
It was exactly what you would expected from Oregon going into a game against a far inferior opponent.
Mm-hmm. That's
So
basically the 11-minute summation, is that they look good.
Yep.
Not great, but they look good. So, with that out of the way, time to move forward to week 2 since it's 24 hours away. And, So, this has been UODuckBros, industrial setting UODuckBros, saying thank you guys for watching, and as always, go Ducks.
Go Ducks.